Uh,
The cold, like, it got to me. I lived in Chicago, so it was a very cold climate for a while.
mhm.
And then it got to be like too much in the winter. It'd be like negative 20, and then you're like it's just too brutal. So I'm glad to be here. It's wonderful. Again, like I'd rather have the heat. How about you? Would you rather have it be hot?
Well, I would rather have the cold because British heat is really like energy sapping. I think American heat is a lot better.
Really?
Yeah, like literally, you just have to lay back in British heat. Can't do anything. I
Oh.
think if I was in America, I'd probably prefer the heat.
Yeah, I think they kind of get used to it, and they just go like, "Well, this is the way it is."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you don't have to. You can move a little bit if you have the means. You can move around a little bit. And I found that it once I got here and I didn't have to deal with the just the cold. It was like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Mm.
I was, and I think a lot of my friends that have moved here as well thought the same thing. They're like, yeah, you get here and you're like, oh, this should have happened a long, long time ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, well, let's see, we've got one, two, let's see, three, four, five, wow, six. We have 54. We have 54 suggestions right now.
Okay.
Uh, Pick a number 1 to 54.
Okay. How much shall I make you count? 37.
Oh, 37. Perfect. All right, I'm going to count backwards.
Okay.
54, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 50, 49, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 40, 39, 38, 37. This comes from Nathaniel, and it's staying up late to finish homework is our suggestion. Staying up late to finish homework. Thanks, Nathaniel.
Do you want some Pro Plus? Pro Plus?
Yeah, please, please. How you doing? How you hanging up? Oh,
I mean, I'm 5 coffees in. We can do this.
I mean, if we just take it like a minute at a time, we don't think about anything. I mean, we got 16 hours to finish this. Okay, we got 16. That's plenty of time.
Yeah. We could write a Shakespeare play in this time.
Absolutely right. It's like there's what I feel good about is there's two of us now. It's not just one
Yeah.
of us doing. There's two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna finish this real quick. I'm just
Sure.
gonna have
Sure.
this, and then do you want
Yeah.
something to eat?
Yeah. Yeah. We need
Okay.
something to eat. We
Yeah,
need
I
to soak
got.
up the caffeine.
What's that?
We need to soak up the caffeine.
Yeah, yeah. I've got some biscuits. I'm gonna grab them. Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
great. Oh, yeah. Okay. This feels good. You know what? Here you go. Here. Uh,
Thanks.
I'm in a better place. Like I feel like I thrive under pressure. So knowing that there's a deadline, I think really helps me.
Yeah. I think we need to make a plan of how we're going to do this. So, I'm going to make a color coded chart.
Okay. Great. That sounds great. Uh, okay. And why don't we just? You know what? Let's just do a brain dump of what we've got,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there. We know it's a love story.
Sure. Sure. So love, Shakespeare.
I got it. Shakespeare in Love. Wait, no, that's been done.
Oh wait, that was an awesome idea. If
Thank you, thank you,
wait,
thank you, Jenny.
yeah, I can't believe someone got to that before you. I mean,
It's like I feel like it's one of those things you have an idea for, and then you're like, of course, it sounds so like, why didn't anybody think of it? And then you're like, oh, somebody did think of it.
yeah, yeah, but we should write it in the brain dump.
Good point. No judgment, right? We can't judge and create at the same time, so let's put it up there.
Okay, Shakespeare in love. Okay. Puppy love, puppy love, puppy
Puppy
love.
love. That's good. Put it up there. Put it up there. Puppy love. That's a good one. Uh, Love thy neighbor.
Love thy note. That's good. I love the religious. Yeah, I love the religious turn of that. I
Love
love
that.
that
Yeah,
movie.
right, right. Because I mean, it's all language, right? It's all like so we should be thinking thy, not your,
Yeah,
like thy. So we'll put everything in those terms. This is I feel like this is going really well.
this is going so well. If you're gonna love thy neighbor, you can love that. You can love thy parents as well.
Put it
Love
up
thy
there.
parents.
Put it up. Put it up. Love thy parents. Love thy dog. You know, with the
Love thy
puppy love.
dog.
Love thy
Yeah,
dog.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Uh.
You could love thy person who is near you.
Yep. Thy person who was near. You're near me. Love you.
Really?
Well, you're near me, right? Let's put it down.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's
You okay?
yeah. What do you think about what's with us?
I mean, pretty deep conversation, like 15 hours into this homework assignment, Don. I
Yeah.
mean, have we got time for this?
I feel like now's the time, and I don't want to put any pressure on you, and I don't want to like misinterpret anything, and I
Okay, I mean, it's a pretty deep question to ask me when I've had like 5 cups of coffee. I mean, I'm
yeah.
not going to get my words right when I say this. I mean,
Well, here, I'll hand me the marker. I'll write it. It'll be a brain dump. Just think of this as a brain dump of feelings, all right? Just
okay, yeah, yeah, brain dump. Okay, you, okay, I've known you for 5 years now.
okay. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good. I'm gonna put up there.
known you for 5 years. You, like, I like it when you nibble on the pen lid when you're writing in class. I love that. I love that about you. Um, I love like I love your style. I love the clothes you wear. Um, I don't know. I've been scared to say this stuff to you before. I don't know. Maybe the caffeine is helping me because I would never have said this to you. Like if I hadn't have been like 5 coffees deep in this huge homework escapade with you. I mean,
It'd be different if it was like 5 glasses of wine. This is not. It's just coffee. Uh,
yeah. I mean, wine is also good for me. I mean, I'd probably say this stuff after 5 glasses of wine as well.
Maybe it's like a 5 drink mark is when the truth comes out. I'm gonna put that up there. 5 drinks.
5 drinks. You think the moment we're most honest with each other is when we've had 5 drinks of mind-altering substances. I mean, what does that say?
Well, I think Shakespeare would have said that whatever got you to love, it doesn't matter what it is. The truth in love comes out.
That, that's really poetic, Don.
Well, you make me feel poetic.
Well, okay, we've got to write that down.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't imagine going the rest of my life not telling you this. I feel like I feel the same way. I like when you nibble on your glasses when you're thinking, and when you are really concentrating, you put your tongue at the corner of your mouth, and you really get in a zone, and you get in a focus right there. And I I don't want us just to be study buddies, but I also don't know if that's what you want.
I don't know, Don. I mean, God, I'm feeling really anxious right now. I don't know if it's the caffeine or like all of this heavy stuff we're talking about. I mean, I don't know.
How about this? Uh, Once upon a time, there's a boy from a small town who went to the big city to find his way, and he met a girl from an even smaller town, and they met under the most strange circumstance. It was like the universe threw them together, and they didn't talk about it, until finally they were forced to talk about it. And
Wow.
yeah, uh,
Is that Shakespeare or is that you?
I think that's me channeling Shakespeare, who was channeling me. It's me in the style of Shakespeare, I guess. I mean, what Professor O'Leary says. She says, "Write what you know, even in the fantastical worlds." And so maybe we just write what we know.
Yeah. Well, I know that I want to be spending more time with you, and I want to I want more conversations like this, where we can say what's in our
Yeah,
hearts and we don't have to have like 5 bottles of Pinot Noir to get to it.
I like that. We just spend time together. We don't have to have anything to alter our moods. We could just go into our moods.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
not even like I don't even like want to talk about future. I just like the idea of just that's I'd love to just spend more time with you outside of the study group.
yeah. We, I mean, I almost don't want to get back to this now because I just want us to keep talking. We've, we've, we've got 15 and a half hours. We can leave this for a while, right?
I mean, you can't tell me Shakespeare took days and weeks to write every single play. I mean, there are lots of examples of Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky in a 24-hour period. We just have to write a one-act play in the style of Shakespeare. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
And if we write what we know, if we write what we're feeling now, you don't need to prepare for this.
No,
I mean, this can just be our feelings for each other.
we just have to be in a space that we feel vulnerable, and I feel really vulnerable around you, and not in a way that is anything but safe.
Right? That's exactly how I feel. Like I feel so safe with you.
Yeah. I mean, that is, for some people, that's probably an unbelievable love story, is two people who feel safe around each other.
I mean, I know. I thought I'd have to be someone else to find love, and yet you love all the stuff about me that I thought was weird. That I nibbled my glasses. I went into a zone. Well, that's just me.
Yeah, those are the things I love the most.
I mean, well, I didn't mean to say love so quickly. I mean, I don't even know how you feel. Was that too fast?
No, it was it was the right time. Oh, that could be the first line. It was the right time.
Okay. We need to write this. It was the right time.
It's the right time. Scene! Oh wow,
Oh,
that was so fun.
no. I was like, don't let the scene end,
I
Jay.
know, I know.
Right time. We have to see what happens.
Well, part of that fun is, I guess, the audience will fill in the blanks. We can also revisit these. Wouldn't it be fun to revisit these characters?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
might be part two, is to come back and do part two of these scenes and see what happens.
Yeah, an audience, if you want to write down what happens to these two, send it in.
Oh
Because
my
we're as a curious viewer.
Well, what's interesting is I think you seem to be somebody who plays from a place of curiosity. And like,
Yeah.
have you been like your whole life? Have you been curious? Is that just like an extension of who you are?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. And actually, my background is in psychology, so I'm
Uh,
really kind of curious about how people feel, what makes them tick, emotions and stuff. So I really like going to that sort of emotional place. And what you were saying about feeling safe and feeling vulnerable, I really like when that can happen in improv between two people. So
yeah, I feel like that's kind of what our job is to make it so our partners feel that safe so they can be vulnerable.
yeah, definitely. And I saw the 10 minutes with that you did with Alex Federer,
Oh
and I
yeah.
thought that was like really similar in the sense of you both got really vulnerable with each other, and it was really amazing.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
so yeah, that's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the silliness and the fantasy of a lot of other improv as well, but I really love the fact that we can just say something real as well, and just like improv is so diverse that anything can happen.
And I think, I mean, that's such an important point because I feel like a lot of times when you first start taking classes, like you first fall in love with it and then you start limiting what your possibilities are because you're trying to do something right or you want to get, there might be a lesson your teacher's working on and you don't realize at times that's just one skill you're working on. That's not the way to always do it. It's just like we're going to work on this one skill at this moment, and the more you kind of start doing scenes, the more you realize, oh, let's get back to that initial improv step, which was anything can happen. And I think it
Yeah.
takes some people longer to get back to that space. Some people have always maintained it, but I think a lot of people find their own journey to kind of get back to that idea of let's make it happen and let's take a breath and we'll figure it out as we go.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's so because I one of the things I'm trying not to do is get in my head about trying to be funny, quote unquote. So I really like stepping back and just going back to the discovery of it and just saying I'm discovering what's going to happen with this person who's in it with me, and we'll just see wherever it goes. And the freedom in that is something that I love.
I mean, isn't that interesting? It's like how, because of you, also your background in psychology, it's like how everybody is so afraid that they're in their heads all the time because we are, right? As humans, we just are. And like, how do you help people shift to the discovery element and away from the inventing and pre-planning element? It's just a fascinating, to me, it's a fascinating study. It's like, how do we get people to that point? Because a lot of psychology, a lot of religion, we're always trying to get to that point as humans.
Yeah. I wish I had a really good answer there for you today based on research, but I don't know. But I think improv is great for that, practicing that. And I'm always surprised about how much I take from improv and take back to psychology in
Mm.
terms of like if I'm working with a client sort of therapeutically, the whole being in the now and just responding to what they're going to say and getting
Mm.
out of my head and listening to what they're actually telling me in the moment. Improv is a great way to foster that for me.
Yeah, I think that's, to me, that's the biggest takeaway. It's not like learning, the games are fun and playing is fun and formats are great, but like it's that element of kind of getting more comfortable with who you are as a person and discovering that and trying to just stay as present as possible. And I think it does help with that tremendously.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything that you've sort of taken from improv back to your daily life? Just,
Everything.
yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, can I treat the people around me like they're my scene partner? Can I do the same thing? Like, can I make them look good? Can I look at them as rock stars and poets and geniuses? Can I do the things I say when I'm teaching and I instruct other people? Can I do it? Can I follow the fear? Can I take a breath and stay present? Can I say to myself, what I'm going to do is good enough, right? So it's all of those things that when I'm teaching, I have no problem saying. Make
Mm,
positive choices. Look at the good in people. But then when I'm in real world situations, can I still take that? Because it always, those ideals make my life better. I have a proven track record of that. When it's like, try to stay, like, especially now with what's happening in the world, Can you
Yeah.
stay present? Can you not get too ahead of yourself? Can you look at the things, what can I be grateful for? So I do think all of the things I've learned in improv have definitely helped me improve. It's a muscle too, right? It's something you have to just keep reminding yourself.
Yeah, and I think what you're right about, the brain is kind of hardwired to always either be in the future or always be in the past. So it's evolutionarily wired that way. So that's why the actual stay in the moment, sort of discovering the now, is at the beginning very difficult. But improv really helps you to stay in that moment
I mean,
because I guess oh, sorry, carry
no,
on.
no, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because I guess we only actually have this moment to act in, which is really important. Like, we can't act in the future, we can't act in the past. So, in order to make the best decisions for ourselves and other people, it needs to be based on right now, really.
Well, yeah, and you called it. It's like we regret so much of what we've done in the past too. We regret the past and we're afraid of the future. And I think in some ways, as that equates to improv, is sometimes forms put us in the mindset of planning for later on in the show. And so we talk about things that we can then feel safe enough to do. It's like, well, don't forget the party's going to be this weekend. And now it's like, cool, we know the next step is that party thing. But if we can let it come to us, and like you said, just be in the moment with somebody and going, I don't know, let's just soak up every moment, every second we can, whether that's in life or stage. I think it just changes who you are, and it makes it easier. And that's what I'm at now, is like, what's going to make this journey easier for me on stage?
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that because before we improvised together today, I was sort of imagining what scene suggestions we might get, and I was, oh, maybe we'll get the scene suggestion hospital. If we get the scene suggestion hospital, what sort of scene shall I do with Jay? And I was still sort of imagining like full played out scenes, and I was like, Kiran, that isn't what improv is really about.
Well, there was a time in my improv career where it was probably about, I don't know, 6 years in maybe, where I said, I'm going to have three opening lines to scenes going before a show. So then I've got these three, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to say one of these three because I've thought about it and how great and wonderful. And I wanted to kind of steer the scene that way to where it's like, okay. And, you know, you've we have to I have to constantly remind myself of like what I'm going to do with Kieran is going to be so much more fun than what I could imagine. And so the reason I got into improv was I didn't have to be by myself, and that I could be with someone else and we can create this together. And so yeah, having that thought of like excitement of what it's going to be but not planning it. And
Yeah.
what's funny is the suggestion we got tied into what we talked about before we came on, which is you're in the middle of a dissertation, right?
Yeah, so I was like, Nathaniel, if you're psychically connected to me, let's talk.
Well,
Yeah.
it's so funny because you're like, this will give me a great break, and then our suggestion is staying up all night for school. It's like, no, maybe not.
You know, it would have given me a great break if I could fall in love with somebody right now as I'm doing my dissertation, but so far that isn't happening. But I'll keep my fingers crossed.
And Nathaniel's he does a series of these 10-minute scenes as well. And I think you two would have a hoot together. So I'll connect you because he's another one of these positive, likes to play and have fun. And I think it's like kind of kismet that he gave the suggestion. It was about that. So it's like, I think you two have to at least meet.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that'd be.
How did you get into improv? Like what made you sign up for a class or go to a jam or do a show?
Well, actually, it was at a British Psychological Society conference, and they were running an intro to improv there. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to have the confidence to do this, but I'll go along. And then I went along, fell in love with it, and then I think a few months later, when I was looking for a hobby, I was like, I did love that improv, and then I signed up. Yeah.
Wow. And how long ago was that? When was that conference? Do you remember?
Um, so I think it must have probably been about 2 or 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
I've been improving, I guess, regularly for like I think a year and a half. But if anyone has a more accurate statistic, again, please let me know.
Yes, please. Let's tell Karen how long she's been doing it. Please, let's correct her in the comments. Tell us.
Everybody asks me and I never know. So I have to look at them and see if they know more than me.
The only reason I know when I took my first class was because it was my final year of university, and that's the only like that's my tie-in. Is like, oh yeah, I remember my parents gave it to me as a Christmas present that year. But if it was just like I didn't have that marker, I'd be the same way. I'm like, I don't know, 10 years ago, nine. I'm not sure how long ago.
Yeah. Oh, so your parents gave you signed up for an improv class for a Christmas present for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And before that, you hadn't done any improv.
No, well, I had done what we all do, which is like just doing bits with your friends. So we all have improvised before we even take a class. It's just it's play. So I had
Yeah.
like, and I loved being creative. And my parents said, "Hey, I grew up in Chicago. They're like, we signed you up for a class at Second City. They were on a Saturday, and I had to drive like 3 hours from school. But after the first day, I was like, I can't. It became the highlight of my week for sure. And I was getting ready to graduate, but I could not wait for that improv class. But we had a shared like sense of like my dad was big with we bonded over humor, and then we bonded over sports. And improv to me is the combination of those two things, where it's like you're part of a team, and then you also humor is part of this. Like it's not necessarily the aim, but definitely like we get into it because we're humorous people. So that started me off on the journey. It's that simple thing, and then I was hooked.
Did you know straight away that this was like, when did you know, hey, I'm going to do this with like my life basically?
I had gone through a year of classes, and then I went to enroll in like an advanced, like a conservatory program. And I remember asking my teacher then, I'm like, "Can you make a living doing this?" And she's like, "I am." And I went, "Okay." I did not know there were not that many jobs at the time to do it. Like there were very few jobs that allowed you to make a living doing it. There were probably at that time there were probably 10, but they were mostly like sketch at Second City. It wasn't like straight up improv you could make a career on. So I kind of was just like, okay, you could make a living, but I never thought of it as like a career. I just thought like, oh, I'll like wait tables, or I'll work at a call center just so I can play at night. Like so my focus was definitely on improv, but I did not think a career would come of it. I just thought it was like like a bowling league where it's like, oh, this is a really fun thing I get to do with my friends. And then it just over time slowly it changed to what it is now.
Yeah. I really like what you said about you think it's like a combination between sports, because I hate physical exercise. So now I can just say I'm just doing something that's like a combination. I'm doing my sport.
This is your sport. You're in a group. You're working together for a common goal. You're finding what your place is. You have an objective. Sometimes you don't achieve the objective, but you have to find your place in whether it's a two-person group, a whatever it is. You got to find your space there. So to me, it's like mental gymnastics in a way too.
Yeah, and you get the camaraderie that you get with sports teams so much. Because I feel like before I met my improv troupe guys, I normally was quite a guarded person, and then but there's something that really sort of bonds you if you can sort of do come on stage with nothing and somebody's got your back and everybody's got your back, and then suddenly these people sort of become people that you can be so comfortable with so quickly, and my improv troupe guys like quickly became my best friends so quickly, and I was like, I don't know how this is happening, but it's because we we've just got each other's back on like a deeper level.
I mean, that's it. It's like I'm not sure how this happened. How did we meet? But this feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Where, if people want to like watch shows you're doing or follow you online, what's the best way they can do that?
I think so. I really do like most of my performing with Miss Imp. So I don't know if you've heard of like Miss Imp
Of
in.
course,
Yeah, yeah.
Emily and
So
Liam, and I mean
right,
they're the
yeah.
best.
I don't know why I said I don't know if you've heard of them, but I was pretty sure you would have heard of them. But yeah, so just anything on Miss Imp, there will probably be
Yeah.
anything that I'm doing will be there, and I'm going to be on the 20th of, you know, Carla as well, Carla Dingle.
Yeah, yeah, O'Brien, yeah.
Yeah.
Carl O'Brien thing, yeah.
So
She's
I'm going to
great.
be on. So she's going to be part of a panel with me and loads of other people on inclusion in improv on the 20th of September. So if there's a link for that, then you could see us there with me, her, and loads of other lovely people, including David Escobedo.
Oh, yes. I mean, Carla and David are, both are just tremendous, and they're both are huge about advancing what's happening in improv and Miss Imp as well. Like, I feel like I didn't really know that group until the pandemic, and now I've been fortunate to play with a bunch of great folks from there. So, yeah, that's great. I definitely will put all that information up on the website there.
Yeah, I feel the same with, because I never would have met Carla. I was lucky enough to be at a workshop that David ran in Nottingham, but I never would have met Carla and loads of other lovely improvisers from America and Queen City if it wasn't for the pandemic. So I'm just feel so blessed to be able to meet them and network with them.
Well, I've been so blessed to meet you and play with you, and this was so wonderful. And whether it's in person or virtual, I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, it'll be your mate. Do you know who you're doing? Do you know who your next 10 minutes with is with?
I do. I'm doing one. I think I'm doing one tomorrow with JJ. I think it's Hazan.
Okay.
I think I'm doing that tomorrow, and it's an hour and a half earlier. So it's 9 a.m. LA time. So that's going to be 5, I think it's 5 p.m. UK time.
Okay, well, I haven't seen JJ before, but all of your 10 minutes with have been so amazing, so I'll be sure to tune in.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you so much. And like I said, I can't wait to talk with you again.
Yeah, it was really amazing. Such a pleasure to improv with you. So thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. Have a great rest of your day and night.
Thank you very much. You too.
Bye.
Bye.